Okay. Finally managed to get a day off. Rooting around trying to get some stuff done at the house. Got the truck cleaned out. Now I'm working on the shed, and hopefully I'm scheduled today to get the shed done. But while I'm at it, still working on the truck a little bit. Okay. Nope. Oh. Tired old truck. It's got 400,000 miles on it. Okay, the odometer reached 420 and some odd thousand miles. And the best I can tell you is there's two things that make that happen. Okay. Maintenance and driving style. Okay. Some folks probably say, "Oh, you drive like an old man." You know what? Guess what? I haven't had a car payment in 15 years. Okay. And this thing gets 17 miles to the gallon. It doesn't use a quart of oil between oil changes. And so I'm getting ready to do one of my occasional maintenance routines, and I thought I'd share it with you. Okay, what we got here is a Chevy small block, old cast iron Chevy small block, and most any car that's got this many miles is going to have valve guide issues, valve guide seal issues. Okay, she puffs a little blue smoke when you start. Okay, that's your valve guides leaking. All right. Let's go look at this. Okay, on this particular engine, it's a Chevy small block. This is the valve cover. Okay, and underneath that, you've got the valves, the springs, the rockers, the push rods that actuate all that connected to the cam. Okay, changing the valve seals is a laborious and expensive undertaking. Okay, not changing the valve seals eventually leads to coked up valves, which hinders performance, makes power reduction, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and the thing you can do, you can actually clean the valves. Okay, you see a lot of videos on YouTube about seafoam. Okay, the thing is I've been mechanicking since before electronic fuel injection was a fantasy. You know, you dealt with carburetors, and if an engine made 100,000 miles, you were doing a good job of maintaining it, or you were extremely lucky. Okay, now the thing I want to point out, the reason that I'm not changing these valve guide seals primarily is that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, and that bolt. And 400,000 miles in the gasket around this. In 400,000 miles, those bolts have never had a wrench on them. Okay? That might not impress too many people, but it impresses the hell out of me. So rather than change the valve guide seals, I'm going to do what we used to do when I was a kid, and I'm going to clean, or make an attempt to clean the valves without disassembling the engine. Okay, and that's where that seafoam comes in. You see a lot of videos with the guys making a big cloud of smoke, and I don't like making big clouds of smoke. That's just garbage going out into the environment. Alright, so the technique we used to use when I was a kid involved a garden hose. And you held the throttle wide open, and you simply dumped water down the intake of the engine while it was running. Okay, now, before you go trying this on your own, I am not going to claim any responsibility for any damage that you cause to your own engine. Okay? But I'm going to show you the technique that I use now. It's a little bit more refined. We don't use the garden hose anymore. And, okay, the concept is, while the engine's running, you introduce some water, and it will essentially go into the combustion chamber, turn to steam, and then as it's passing the valve, steam clean the valve. Okay? And anyway, what we got here, we got us a little garden sprayer and a gallon of AutoZone windshield washer fluid. That's good to 20 degrees below zero. Okay, that windshield washer fluid is nothing but water and methyl alcohol or methanol. Okay, a lot of guys use it in their water injection and their hot rods. Okay, but what we're going to do on this throttle body here, on the Chevrolet throttle body, there's an orifice back here, down in the back, and by orifice I mean hole, and it's not round, where the intake system draws air, and it's called the idle air control circuit. Okay. Initially, we are going to introduce moisture, water, in there, and it's going to go through all 8 cylinders to clean the valves. Okay, now the way that you can tell if it's doing well is that as you're going through this process, the valves will get cleaner, and the engine will actually idle at a lower speed as you're doing it. Okay, and then at a certain point I'll start dumping the water into the Venturis. Okay, now what that does is, on this particular engine, this injector and this Venturi feed 4 individual cylinders, and this injector and this Venturi feed the other 4. Okay, we'll start alternating, putting the fluid in here. Okay, we'll put some in here until we're sure, you know, until we're comfortable that we've done a good job, and then we'll go over here and we'll do the same thing. Okay, and that's actually going to be a quality control situation where if you can't kill the engine, or if it actually runs smooth on 4 cylinders, and then you go to the other side and you can't kill the engine and it runs smooth on 4 cylinders, you've gotten those valves pretty clean. Okay, the And the reason for this is, okay, the valve guide seals leak down the valve stem, okay, and that's primarily in a high vacuum situation, it's like at idle, okay, and generally you'll only see that high vacuum situation. Okay, what's going on is the oil is leaking past the seals, going down the valve, and then eventually, while the car's running, it's such an infinitesimal amount of oil you won't notice the smoke. Okay, it's when you turn the engine off and that valve has got that oil on it, and with the engine not running and the valve not on its seat, that hot valve cooks off the volatile esters in the oil, and you end up with ash and coke, what they call coke. And eventually you no longer have a nice smooth valve. You've got all this debris, this carbon build up on it. And what happens is the next time, or progressively, it gets worse, and the oil stops cooking, because now all that black stuff is acting like an insulator. And when you go to start the car, the oil, gravity has brought the oil down to the bottom of the valve, and it deposits it into the combustion chamber. All right. Now, not only, okay, it makes blue smoke, but all this carbon on that valve affects how the air fuel enters the combustion chamber. And it will actually strip fuel out of the air, and eventually it condenses on the valve, and then instead of having a nice air-fuel mixture, you start getting drops of fuel dripping off the valve, and that causes the engine to run rough. Okay, so anyway, we're going to show you how to do this real quick. All right. Whoop. Of course, I'm going to knock this over. Okay, and notice we've got 420,483 miles on a 91 Chevy. We've got the parking brake set, truck's in neutral, or park, excuse me. I'm going to set y'all down for a minute. Alright, so initially, alright, we've got this set up so it makes a nice spray. Alright, and then you're going to very gently apply pressure to the valve. And that'll happen occasionally. Okay, you don't want to leave the thing parked. And there you go. Get this out of the way. Leave it. wants the exhaust. Eventually you'll see steam come out of the exhaust. And it starts running rough, you can stop and let it smooth out. We're going to go ahead and start alternating here. Alright, and I've got this valve wide open. I've got 4 cylinders that are not firing right now. Alright, so we'll stop for a minute. Hear the idle coming up? Now we'll go to the other side. I've got that valve wide open. And we're running on 4 cylinders right now. Alright, we'll let the idle come up. Now we're going to do the idle air circuit again. Okay, now that's all 8 cylinders now. Alright. Look how slow this thing's running. Okay. And the vacuum's like that because we've wet spark plugs, we've knocked stuff around in there. But notice how it's starting to come up. Look at that rock steady vacuum. Alright, one more time. And that is wide open on this valve. That's maybe not. It's work. So anyway, that's all you do. I ain't gonna do it. You see, I've got enough stuff in there that it's just getting everywhere now. That's how you clean the valves on your old Chevy small block. You do that about once every 2 months, and don't worry about them valve guide seals. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Come on.